Hello everyone and welcome to grade 7 English lesson. This lesson is brought to you by Addis Ababa City's Government Education Bureau in collaboration with Addis Media Network. I am Miss Mastawal and I am going to be presenting today's lesson. Today's lesson is lesson 16 and the topic for today's lesson is expressing opinions. There are different ways to express opinions, and today we will see some of them. The first that we're going to talk about today is strong opinions. Some people, when they want to talk about something that they feel are strongly correct or fact, or they believe is that something that should be talked about most of the time, they use strong opinions. They use common expressions to talk about their belief with other people. The common expressions in this case are the first one, I strongly believe that I am convinced that. These are very common expressions when we want to talk about something that we feel strongly about, or something or of an opinion that we believe are strongly about. The first one, I strongly believe at. Let's give an example. If you say, I strongly believe that exercise is essential for good health. You are of the opinion, or in this case, you are of the strong opinion that doing exercise is what? Is essential. It is very important for good health. So this is something that the general population believes in, or the general mass believes in. So in this case, you use common expressions like I strongly believe. Another example. I am convinced that going to university is important. Again, it is the same like the first one, right? You are using a common expression to talk about your strong belief in a certain topic, about a certain topic. For example, here again, I am convinced that what? Going to university, going to higher education levels is important. It is necessary for developing your future career, or also for pursuing more educations in the future. If you are the kind of person that would like to learn many things, then that is also what? Important. What is important? Going to university. So we use common expressions like I strongly believe that, or I am convinced that, to show strong opinions. Okay. What about another form of expressing opinions? The second one is neutral opinions. The first one was strong opinions, and the second one that we're going to learn about today is neutral opinions. When we say neutral opinions, we talk about common expressions like I believe that, I think that, in my opinion, and so forth, okay? In my opinion. So when you are talking about neutral expressions, you are talking about your belief, what you are thinking about, what your opinion is about. So you use these common expressions. Let us make some sentences to make it more easier. Example. I believe that going to school early is helpful. So this is a very neutral opinion. This is an opinion that you have personally. Some students might go very early to school. Some other students might go a little bit later to school. But in your belief, you think that going to school early is helpful. Why is it helpful? You may not be running to your classes if you are late. So you might not be late if you go to school early. So you might take the time to go to your classes or take the time to see what you are learning in the next few minutes, and that will be helpful. You may be on time so that your teachers or the school administrations can use your help to some of the school activities that may be performed in the morning lineup ceremony. So going to school may be helpful. So in this case, you are what? Showing or expressing your opinion by using neutral opinion common expressions. Okay, another example. In my opinion, comma, in my opinion, public transportation should be improved. Again, you are giving your opinion, and this is a personal opinion. It may not be an opinion of others or what others believe generally. So you use the common or the neutral expression of giving an opinion. In my opinion. In my opinion, public transportation should be improved. So you are using in my opinion. And you could also use I think that, I believe that, so many others. There are many others. But these are what? Neutral opinions, okay? They are not strong opinions. The third one that we're going to see today is weak opinions, okay? Weak or tentative. Weak or tentative opinions. Unlike the first one that we saw, if you remember earlier, we said strong opinions. Those opinions are very strong. You believe very strongly in those opinions, unlike this one. This one is weak or tentative. So you believe in these opinions, but not so much to the degree that you strongly believe in them. So in this case, you believe in them, but not so much. So we use different common expressions. The common expressions we use for these one are common expressions. I suppose. Yes, I suppose that. I guess that. Okay? These show a little bit of uncertainty in them. Unlike the first one, when you say, I strongly believe, or I'm convinced, these two show what? A sense of a little bit of reluctance, so uncertainty. So that's why we use these common expressions when we are talking about a weak or a tentative opinion. An example. An example. I suppose that technology is important. I suppose that technology is important. So when you are saying this, you are showing a little bit of reluctance. You are saying you're not completely sure, but you have a little bit of uncertainty here. So when you say, I suppose that, you're not saying, I strongly believe. But you are nonetheless giving your opinion. You're giving your opinion, but you are using a weak or a tentative common expression to talk about that opinion. So we know technology is very important in life, or in this case, it is important in life, but from this perspective, from this example's perspective, you're not 100% sure it is important. That means even though technology has its uses and we use it for good things, there may be cases that technology is used for bad things. So if that is the case, you have a little bit of reluctance here. And you use the common expression, I suppose that, to show that reluctance. And you also can use I guess that just the same, like I suppose. I guess that I can stay home a little longer. So in this case, someone has asked you to do something, or you are discussing being at home or leaving home, but you are uncertain about it, but in this case, you're giving the opinion that you want to stay at home. I guess that I could stay at home a little longer, meaning you might not be sure. There's a little bit of reluctance there, but you're still giving the opinion. You are still expressing your opinion by showing a weak or tentative common expression. So this is how we could use the weak or tentative common expression. The fourth one is agreeing with an opinion. If you have seen, so far we have been giving our opinion, not agreeing with someone's or disagreeing with someone's opinion. So far we have been giving our own opinion on certain matters. But in this case, the fourth one is what? Agreeing with an opinion. So this means you have been having a conversation with someone next to you. It may be a parent, it may be a friend, a teacher, on a certain topic. And you are agreeing with those topics or with those ideas. So the common expression for this one here is common expressions. I agree. I agree with you. I completely agree. That is a good point. So, if you see the common expressions here, that they are different, right? You say, I agree, what? With you. So, you are agreeing to a certain idea or a certain topic, but you are agreeing with what? Someone. Someone has already stated or presented an idea, and you are saying you agree with that person's idea so far. The second one, again, the same. I completely agree. If you use this common expression, you are saying what you have said so far, I believe in it as well, so I agree with it. And again, that is a good point. Someone has said a point that you might want to have raised before. So if the person previously raised it, you can say that is a good point and add on to what you want to say as well. So let's see a few examples. Examples. Okay. I agree that we should all be respectful of others. So, the issue you are talking about so far is whether we should be respectful toward others or not. Some people might say, why should we be respectful when others are not respectful towards us? But someone may have said, I believe we should respect others, and you feel that is what you think as well. So you use the common expression of what? Agreeing with an opinion. I agree that we should what? All be respectful towards others, because it doesn't matter if others are respectful to us, but we first should take the example of being respectful to others so that we will receive it in return. So we have used, in this case, the common expression, I agree that. Another example, I completely agree that we should clean our environment. I completely agree that we should all clean the environment, okay? So there are people who throw trash on the sidewalks, on their environment, maybe their house. So this is not a good practice. So someone has raised the issue before you by saying we should all be aware of our hygiene and take care of our hygiene. And you say what? I completely agree with your idea. And you say that we should all what? Clean our environment so that we will all be healthy and safe. So these common expressions are what? Expressions that we use when we are agreeing with someone's opinion. Okay, the last and final one that we're going to see today is, the fifth one that we're going to see today is, earlier we said agreeing with an opinion. This one is disagreeing. Disagreeing with an opinion. Disagreeing with an opinion. This is very important, and you have to take notice, is that when we disagree with someone, we have to be very respectful towards them. We cannot just disagree being very rude. So the words we use when we disagree with that person, the person next to us, has to be very polite and very respectful. So the common expressions are expressions like, I'm sorry, but I disagree. I'm sorry, but I disagree with what you are saying, right? That means you are respectful. You have a sense of being apologetic first. When you say, I'm sorry, you're saying, I do not agree with you, but you are polite. Another. I don't think that's right. Again, when you begin an idea by saying, I do not think that's right, you're not saying, I don't care. When you say words like, I don't care, who cares, whatever, these words show a sense of what? Ignorance or being rude to someone. So if you use words, polite words like, I don't think that's right, but if you go to explaining your reasons, showing your reasons, then you are politely disagreeing with someone, okay? Politely saying, that is not correct. Let me explain why, okay? You are giving your reasons why you are disagreeing. Okay, let's see an example. I'm sorry, but I disagree with your opinion on adding more time to school hours. Let's say one person feels that learning 8 hours or staying 8 hours in school is not enough, or staying 9 hours or 8 hours is not enough. So this person might suggest, oh, what if we add 1 hour to the normal school hour? And if you feel that that is not correct and you do not believe in what this person is saying, you can say, I'm sorry, but I disagree with what you are saying, because I feel students have enough on their plates at the moment, so they don't need to add more hours. They could just go home, relax a little bit, and then go to their schoolwork or studies. So if that's the case, you are what? Politely disagreeing with what one person has said. So you are not rude. So always take care when you are disagreeing with someone, you have to be polite doing it or respectful while doing it. So these are all the common expressions that we use in our daily lives, okay? Disagreeing with an opinion, agreeing with an opinion, and when we disagree, we always have to be respectful about it. And we also give weak or tentative opinions when we feel that we are not sure about the idea that we are talking about at that point. And we also use neutral opinions. These are opinions we use every day, commonly use them when we are talking or when we are writing something. And also, finally, of course, when we believe in something very strongly, we use the strong opinions, common expressions. So these are all. Now, since we have discussed about all of these, let us do a few exercises and we will finish the lesson. I will give you two opinions or two ideas, and I want you to complete the sentences using those two ideas. The first idea is students should not wear uniform at school. So based on this information, you will complete a sentence later on. And the other opinion or idea that I will give you is, should students take mobile phones to school? Phones to school. Okay, should they take it to school? So two opinions. I've given you two opinions or ideas in this case. So based on these ideas, I want you to complete what I would be writing down here. The first one is, I strongly believe that number two, I am sorry, but I disagree that. Number three, I suppose that. Number four, in my opinion, comma. So these are some of the expressions we have seen so far, and I want you to write or fill in the blank spaces by finishing or completing the sentence based on these two scenarios or topics that I have given you. So I will give you a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, to complete this activity, and then we'll come back and see it together. Okay, I'm sure you all did a wonderful job of completing all of these exercises. So let's see it together. For example, I strongly believe that you are given two ideas here. The first one is students should not wear uniform at school, and the second one is should students take mobile phones to school. This one is asking an opinion. The other one is almost telling an opinion. You might be agreeing, disagreeing with it somehow. So if it says, I strongly believe that students should not take their mobile phones to school. I strongly believe that students should not take their mobile phones to school. So you're giving an opinion here by disagreeing with the question that you're given here somehow. So you're saying, no, it is not needed. We are students, we go to school to learn, so mobile phones are not required. So we do not need them, they are a distraction. So you are giving what? The strongest possible opinion or expression, and you're using that to say we don't need mobile phones at school. Or you could also answer in another way, but you use these two expressions. Okay, number 2, I'm sorry, but I forget I here. I'm sorry, but I disagree that students should wear their uniform to school. So you are of the opinion that I'm a student, so I should wear a uniform to school because it makes me equal with my classmate, with my schoolmates. So it doesn't have any distinction when I am wearing a uniform. So if you believe that, you say, I'm sorry, but I disagree that students should wear their uniform to school. So you're saying they should wear their uniform to school. Okay, number 3. I suppose that students can take their mobile phones to school. Here you are of the opinion that, okay, I suppose. So you're not 100% sure. So your idea, your opinion here is weak and tentative. So you're saying, I guess maybe we may need our phones for some things, our mobile phones. So we could take our phones. So you are not sure, and that's what it sounds like. I suppose that students can take their mobile phones, but this opinion is weaker than the opinion that we saw in the first case. Okay, finally, in my opinion, students should wear their uniforms to school. So you are of the opinion that students should wear uniforms to school because they're important. And it is what? Your opinion, your personal view on this matter. So this is all about expressing opinions, and I'm sure you all had a wonderful experience in this lesson, and you have gotten different expressions that you could use for future reference. And I'm sure you will use them when you are talking or when you are writing. And I hope to see you again next time. Have a good time.
Hey guys. I just finished watching a new movie, and I want to know what you think about it. Have you seen The Secret Garden?
I believe I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it yet. What do you think, James?
Well, I think the movie was beautiful. The cinematography was stunning, and the story was heartwarming.
Sounds interesting. I think I'll give it a try.
In the dialogue, Sarah asked for opinions about a movie. She used the expression, "What do you think about?" You can also use some other expressions to show your desire to hear from others. What are your thoughts on? How do you feel about? What's your opinion on? James used, "I believe," to express his opinion, while Emma started her response with, "I think," and then added two arguments to support her opinion. You can also use other expressions to introduce your opinion. I feel. In my opinion. I would say. I love pop music. It's so catchy and fun to dance to. What about you guys?
Oh, I agree. Pop music is great for parties and lifting your mood.
Sorry, I disagree. I prefer classical music. It's so calming and beautiful.
Really? I've never been a fan of classical music.
That's all right. It's a matter of personal preference.
In the dialogue, James and Emma used, "I agree," and "I disagree," respectively. There are various other ways to express agreement or disagreement with someone. For agreement. That's right. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I feel the same way. I'm with you on that. For disagreement, you can use the following expressions. I don't think so. No, I'm not so sure about that. Not necessarily. I think the opposite. I think the beach is the best vacation spot.
Yeah, I agree.
I like the mountains better. I just find the fresh air and scenic views so relaxing. Also, there are many hiking trails to explore.
Sarah and James shared their opinions, but Emma's response stood out because she gave more detailed reasons for her preference. Instead of just saying, "I like," she said, "I like better because of the fresh air, scenic views, and hiking trails." This made her answer more fluent and engaging. To improve expressing your opinion, try using more descriptive adjectives and adverbs to convey your feelings. For example, say, "I strongly prefer," "I find it fascinating." Back up your opinions with reasons or explanations. This will make your responses more thoughtful and engaging. For instance, instead of saying, "I like this movie," you could say, "I like this movie because the storyline is captivating, and the actors' performances are outstanding." Utilize comparative language. Compare the item you're expressing an opinion about with other similar things. For example, say, "I prefer this book over the last one I read because the characters are more relatable."
I'm very happy to announce that we have been provided with funds to improve our office environment. The purpose of this meeting is to share our ideas for how we can improve the working environment and decide how the money will be spent. I'd like to open this up for ideas. Tom, would you like to start?
Thanks, Jill. The way I see it, the first thing we need to solve is the old coffee machine. It rarely works properly and causes more stress than anything else in the office.
I'm afraid I disagree with you on that one. It's sometimes a minor inconvenience. But if the worst comes to the worst, we can always use the instant coffee in the kitchen. I mean, if the coffee machine doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. As far as I'm concerned, we should spend the money on new chairs and desks. Lots of people suffer from backaches because our current chairs are cheap and uncomfortable. If we all had comfortable chairs, I feel that productivity, not to mention employee happiness, would improve significantly.
Surely it makes more sense to take care of the basics first. If you ask me, we should do something about the air conditioning in the building. We all have to breathe this air. And if it's dirty, we're all going to get sick. The way I see it, this is the priority.
I have to side with Frank on this one. I often get headaches when I'm at work, and I think it might be because of the dusty air.
These are all great suggestions. And as far as I am concerned, any of them would be great use of the money. I suggest that we now go through the pros and cons of each suggestion before making a decision. So let's look at Tom's suggestion first.
Hello, I'm Bill, and what I have right here is some ways for you to tell your opinion to other people, okay? Because maybe you're having a discussion or maybe even a small argument, but these are good ways to tell how you're feeling and what you think should be done. Now, I have two positive ways here, okay, for what you think are good ideas. So these are for your good ideas. And then down here, I have two negatives for when you want to talk about bad ideas. Now, an example here with this phrase, I think that. So if you have a good idea, you can start with this phrase to tell people your good idea, okay? Maybe even something simple like, I think that we should eat healthy food, okay? Good idea, eat healthy food. So I think that we should eat healthy food. Same thing here. Talk about this. My belief is. Now this is almost the same as I think that. You can use it the same way, okay? But now, we can use this throughout business here. You could say, my belief is we are spending too much money on marketing. That's a problem right there. So if you think you're spending too much money, tell people, my belief is we are spending too much money on marketing, okay? So you think it's a good idea to stop that. Now for the negatives here, we have this one, talking about bad ideas. I don't think that. Now, an easy one here would be, I don't think that is good for the company. Maybe someone's going to make a bad decision, so you want to speak and try to stop it. So, I don't think that is a good decision. You want to change that, better decision. Now, same thing. I disagree that, okay? This could easily go, I disagree that will help the company, okay? Again, someone's going to make a bad decision. You want to tell them that your opinion says it's a bad decision. We need to change it. So I disagree that will help the company. Okay, let's look at some examples. Dialogue 1. I think that is a good deal. You're right. It used to be more expensive. Dialogue 2. My belief is that we should focus more on advertising. That's a good idea. Now more people will know what we're selling. Dialogue 3. I don't think that we should have a meeting on Friday. I understand your feeling. There isn't anything new to tell the employees. Dialogue 4. I disagree that the new contract is better than the old one. I suppose the old one was more clear about expectations.